Hi, Ms. Lakeisha. I understand that you're here required to speak with someone about your drug addiction and prostitution. I'm a drug and alcohol substance abuse counselor here at the center. So, Ms. Lakeisha, I know that you have read and signed our notice of privacy, but I just wanted to remind you that our conversation today is private. However, counselors are mandated to disclose information if they feel that the client is a danger and to ourselves or others. Do you have any questions about the notice of privacy?
So you gonna tell my probation officer stuff if you feel? Okay.
Not a no, ma'am,
No.
unless it's harmful.
Okay.
So tell me about your circumstance.
Well, I'm required as a form of my probation to come see you, and that's why I'm here.
So do you feel like you need to be here?
Yeah, I need to be here. I know I have, a problem with drugs and my prostitution.
Right.
So,
So what exactly led you to your drug addiction?
well, I was molested as a child, so
Okay.
you know that led me to smoking weed at a young age, and then it progressed to pain pills, and then it progressed to doing crack because it was cheaper than buying pain pills.
Right. So was it easy to get your hands on those kind of things?
Yeah, a lot of times the people that when I'm at prostitute, they offer me drugs, so we do drugs together. So a lot of time I don't have to buy it. We just do it together.
Right. So what does your everyday life look like?
Well, sometimes I steal to get money. 9 times out of 10, I'm prostituting to get money. So I don't have a job. I can't. I don't have any skills. I don't have a place to stay. So only thing I can do is prostitute, sleep with people to get money and drugs.
Do you have any family in this area or where you stay
My
at?
whole family is here. It's just that like I said, I'm a drug addict. I steal. So a lot of my family disowns me. They don't let me come around because the type of things that I bring around.
So what exactly do you think like led you to this point like of you being here today?
Well, I've been to jail a couple of times, and it's part of this time being on probation. I have to complete, drug counseling classes. I have
Right.
to do mandatory drug tests. So this is like my last resort. I've been picked up so many times that the next thing is jail time, hard jail time.
Right. And how does that make you feel?
Well, I think it's making me try to get my act together because the first couple of times it was 6 months here, six
Right.
months there, and I never really did the whole 6 months. So I knew that out in a couple of months, and I can get back to my drugs and my lifestyle. But this time I know that they're not playing with me. They enough is enough, I guess.
Right. And how do you think where do you see yourself in 6 months?
Well, I've OD'd a couple of times, so if I don't die, then maybe I might be, trying to get myself together because I do have kids. It's just I don't have them. They're not with me. So I do think about that a lot to, try to get my kids back. But when you're on drugs, the only thing that's important to you is drugs.
And how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Oh, okay. And where are they?
They're with my mom's, I don't know who their dad is, I sleep around. I get pregnant. I give them to my mom.
Right. And what does your mom say about that?
She keeps my kids because she knows nowhere else for them to go.
Right.
But I can't see them, with me being how I am. She doesn't let me come over, so I know they're in good hands. But sometimes it bothers me, and it just makes me do more drugs because I know I have kids and they don't know who I am.
And how does that make you feel?
I get sad, but when you've been through a lot like me, you block out a lot of things. Drug is my only outlet to get rid of that.
Right. So you talked about how you were molested, right?
hmm
How do you think that affected you?
It made me not trust a lot of people. It made me put my guard up, and then it made me for a while be promiscuous. Just sleep with people.
Right.
So
Did you ever tell anybody when it happened, or
Yeah, I told someone and they didn't believe me, so.
Right. And so I can see why it is the way it is. Okay. So, what do you consider your strengths?
I'm a good talker. I can talk people out of anything. I guess that's part of the trade, you know.
Right. So, do you have any, like, have you ever worked in your life, or have you ever done anything besides prostitution?
I worked like fast food jobs and grocery stores, nothing that required me to do too much.
Right. So, job wise, what would be like your ideal job once you leave prostitution and you recover from being a drug addict?
I don't know. I never even thought about any other job because I've been on drugs so long. You know, job and working is
It's not right. Right. That's understandable. Okay. So what do you want to get out of this counseling and
I want to get clean. You know, I get tired of going to jail. I get tired of, you know, wondering, will this person kill me this time? Will, you know, nobody ever find my body, you know?
Mhm.
I want to, you know, get a real job like other people. I want to be able to see my kids. I want to be able to go around my family. I want to be able to do all those things, but I know as long as I'm on drugs, none of that's going to happen. It's not going to happen.
do you ever think about like changing, or do you think it's gonna change soon, or you
I was clean for 6 months one time, you know,
Right.
without being in jail. I was
Mhm.
clean for 6 months. And then, you know, I couldn't find a job. So it was like, you know, what's the point? You know, nobody's going to give me a job. You know, I have a record. I still, you know. So I went back to that life, you know. That was the only thing I knew.
So you pretty much just gave up because nobody. It just seemed like wherever you went, they all reflected back on your background.
Yeah, it was like,
Right.
you know, it prevented me from moving on. It was like, that's the only thing I could do.
Right. That's understandable. So, do you have any other siblings?
I have 2 brothers.
Okay. And how are they?
One of my brothers, he lets me come over there,
Mhm.
take a bath, but it's never for too long because,
Right.
I'll mess up and, steal, or I have somebody in his house and then he'll put me out. But I do have one brother that, actually does help me and try to look out for me, but the other one just doesn't deal with me at all.
Okay. And how do they feel about your circumstance?
My brother was molested too, but
Okay.
he didn't go the route I went. I guess that made him, want to be successful or, push them the other way. It's just that I guess with me, it just turned me the complete opposite.
Right. That's understandable too. And for your kids, like, what do you want? What do you want for them?
I don't want them to grow up like me. I don't want them to go through what I went through. I wonder, are they safe? Are they around anybody that's doing what happened to me? But when you're on drugs, sometimes,
Mhm.
you don't focus on your kids or what's best for them. And I know being with me, I will put them in the wrong situation. So I know I can't prevent anything from happening to them because, I do what I do. And I'm around all these different people. So I'm no better than what I went through.
Right. So, I'm glad you came today. I know there'll be a bright future ahead.
I hope so, I think it's time for a change. I just hope I got the willpower to actually do it this time.
Oh, yeah. That's good. So, about your prostitution, how long have you been doing that? As long as you've been doing drugs as well, or?
I've been prostituting for about 12 years, just as long as I've been doing drugs. Well, I was doing drugs and stealing, and then it led to prostitution when I
Right.
wasn't living with other people. So
Right. And how old were you? Well, how old were you at the time? Like when you moved out, decided to take that route?
I got put out,
Oh, okay.
and that was when I was 17.
Okay.
So
Since 17, you've kind of been your own, and that's it's understandable. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. I got a lot of information this will help along with our discussions that we're gonna have later on for the past few months, for the past next month. How do you say it? Thank you so much, Ms. Lakeisha. Thank you for coming
Thank
today.
you.